I guess he feels kind of comfortable. There wasn't a resounding, boy, the president's got to have him.
It's always a bad sign when you have the, we stand behind him. It's like you almost never want to hear that, even though in
it's
theory,
up to him whether he pulls out or not, but if he's comfortable, it's okay.
It's not a full-throated
Exactly
defense.
right. How bad is the situation, do you think, for Mr. Moore? We've got 2 Republican senators now. They haven't said they vote against him, but they both are starting to raise questions.
Yeah, it's interesting, and it's not just the moderate Republican senators. Like you might expect a Susan Collins or something like that to flip, but the fact that it's a number of sort of, in the center of the caucus raising concerns, not good. When Herman Cain, when he dropped out, there was some view, it's like, okay, well, he was the sacrificial lamb, and now this will be good for Stephen Moore. But obviously, Stephen Moore's past writing, things that he said about child labor, things that he said about women referees, not great.
Yeah, and as you say, Senator Shelby is not known as a bomb thrower, particularly in the U.S. Senate.
No, and he's not typically a sort of a swing voter among Republicans.
No, exactly. Well, whether Mr. Moore stays or not, we certainly have the Herman Cain vacancy open. Are there some other people that would fit the bill for President Trump who, as far as I can tell, would sort of like loose monetary policy? That's my hint.
It's weird. I guess it depends like what fitting the bill is. And this might sound, I don't know, insulting, but I think there's a fair amount of people who have advocated hawkish monetary views for most of their careers, but then would be willing to suddenly be dovish if it suited this president or if it suited this time. It doesn't seem like there's a shortage of people who'd be malleable about their own beliefs for a shot.
Well, but he has to be concerned about that. That at the Supreme Court, that's happened, and look what happened when they actually got up there. And, and Eisenhower said, "What happened to my nomination of Chief Justice Warren?"
Right. I mean, I guess part of the question is, there's all kinds of variables because there's people who are dovish. There are also people who are partisan and so want tight monetary policy when Democrats are in power and want looser monetary policy with Republicans. That's one of the main charges against Stephen Moore on an intellectual level. Setting aside his writings, his critics point out that not only is he inconsistent or that he has been inconsistent, but that his inconsistency lines up with who's in charge.
So Joe, you know this world well. Are there credible, serious economists who really say, as a matter of principle, I do believe that we should be pretty loose with our monetary policy?
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're not MMT, something in that direction.
Absolutely. There are credible economists who have argued that the Fed should be much more willing to tolerate and risk higher inflation. And many of them are Republican conservatives who would roughly sort of see the economy the same way a lot of Republicans do. The thing is, they're not typically this sort of Fox News flamethrowers who might be in President Trump's orbit, but you could look at someone like a David Beckworth, who's a professor in Kentucky, who has written for a long time from a sort of conservative perspective that the Fed has been too tight. There's a number of names like that. Today, there was a good Ross Douthat column in the New York Times today. I thought it was pretty cool. He listed 2 different Bloomberg people, as Bloomberg opinion columnists, Ramesh Ponnuru and Carl Smith, as people who roughly see the world kind of from a conservative worldview, but who would right now anyway be in sync with Trump's preference on monetary policy.
Okay, those people are in the Fed right now, but there's some questions about whether the models work right now already. Right?
And that's also a really good point.
Too concerned.
That's a great point because you can talk to we're blue in the face about tolerating greater inflation but right now we can't even really show demonstratively that there is this trade-off between unemployment and inflation, which is the sort of predicates all these arguments.